Regardless of how you feel about DrDisRespect, if you were to be intellectually honest with yourself, then you would have to acknowledge there are individuals that loathe him, that want to bring him down, and that have wanted to do so since long before the relatively recent accusations. And now with his return to streaming, of course, the game journalists out there that have always wanted to destroy his career are coming out in full force with propaganda hit pieces. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idol, and yes, DrDisRespect returns with 20-minute rant on Twitch ban, denies wrongdoing, and says he's the victim of a conspiracy. They wanted to cut down the doc, plain and simple. Now, I have maintained the same position on this DrDisRespect stuff the whole time. Innocent until proven guilty, but my god, is it a bad look. That being said, no files were ever brought upon him. He, didn't have any sort of criminal charges, nothing to that effect. So, yeah, I really couldn't care less. I've never been a big DrDisRespect fan. Always thought that, what he's done in terms of creating his empire, being one of the GOATs when it comes to streaming, is admirable. And frankly, I did in fact tune in to his comeback stream yesterday because I was really curious about it. And honestly, I think it went pretty well, but Andy Chalk from PC Gamer doesn't think it went very well. Yeah, Andy Chalk trying to bring down DrDisRespect. Just so you guys know, this is what Andy Chalk looks like. Homie looks like Chris Farley with an extra chromosome. This is the guy attacking DrDisRespect. All of a sudden, it's already starting to paint a picture. We don't even have to get to the actual article before we realize this snake guy looking lizard folk mofo absolutely is jealous of the mad respect and frankly success of DrDisRespect. You don't have to like DrDisRespect to be able to pick that up. Just look at that dude. I mean, he is Zach Galifianakis if, Zach Galifianakis was somehow even less talented. The streamer who claimed the person he exchanged messages with via Twitch Whispers was over the legal age of consent. In his return to YouTube on September 6th, Guy Beam, the streamer best known as DrDisRespect, addressed the circumstances behind his lifetime ban from Twitch to an audience of more than 200,000 viewers. Here's the jacked up part about this. There's a Kotaku article on this. In fact, if you watched Neon Leon last night, you would know that we used the Kotaku article as our source when talking about this. Why? Because oddly enough, the Kotaku article was the more fair of the two. The Kotaku article, I don't like that I'm giving them props, but hey, look, I'm a fair individual. Actually covered it with a relative sense of journalistic integrity. There were no personal attacks on DrDisRespect. In fact, the Kotaku article even acknowledged that it was more than 300,000 viewers, not 200,000 viewers. Now, it started off, when I started watching it, I was in the queue waiting before the show even went live. There were 98,000 just waiting for it to go live. Then jumped up to 147,000. Then jumped up to over 200,000. Yes, by the end of it, there were over 300,000 people watching. And Kotaku went with that high number when they could have lowballed it like they did here at PC Gamer. I know this is going to be a blasphemous statement, but guys, I think PC Gamer might actually be a bigger problem when it comes to games journalism than Kotaku. That's right, I said it. Saying that he wasn't sexting anyone through Twitch Whisper messaging system and called the former employee who leaked the allegations a fucking rat. Beam began his statement by saying the terms of his settlement with Twitch imposed a gag order on all parties involved, in order that until a disgruntled employee leaked allegations about the cause of the suspension earlier this year. He also addressed YouTube's decision to demonetize his channel, saying that he will be able to reapply for monetization on September 25th, and he intends to do so. And by God, as he should. In fact, I hope he gets his account reinstated. I hope he gets his monetization back, because let's face it, until there's any sort of charges brought against him, which I highly doubt there ever will be, until there's some sort of actual crime committed, I do not think his livelihood should be impacted whatsoever. There's always going to be he said, she said bullshit on the internet. There's always going to be the court of public opinion. But the way I sees it, in the fine letter of the law, if he didn't do anything wrong, if this was all handled, outside by third parties and agreements were came to, and of what he's saying about the individual that he had the messages with, also not actually being affected by this and not wanting to take it as far, and that it was actually Twitch that did the whole thing. I'm gonna be real, I truly could not care less. There are bigger fish to fry than trying to slander a dude because you don't like his fake persona on the internet. He then quickly changed tack, shifting to an aggressive defense, decrying the actions of the people behind the initial leak of the reasons for his suspension. This was settled professionally, Beam said, and you know how black and white the internet is. You decided, you fucking rat, to leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2021. Beam also asked rhetorically if the person behind the leak knows the legal definition of sexting, a point that seems uncomfortably central to Beam's defense. Why is that uncomfortably central? This is the part of the article that might just rub me the wrong way the most. Oh, it's really, it's interesting, and it's kind of uncomfortable that he's talking about, the definition of sexting. Well, homie, if I was accused of sexting a minor, I would definitely be focusing on what sexting is, because that's a pretty hefty allegation. Inappropriate messages can, now again, was he sexting? I don't know. I wasn't there. It's, again, I'm going to just maintain innocent until proven guilty. However, what I do care about is that words have meaning, and there's a lot of different ways that people try to use language to bend it to, bend people to their way of thinking. They'll try and veil something when they really mean something else. They will use the tricks of language for propaganda and to get people to sway them to one side or the other. So yeah, when talking about talking to a minor in what could have been a sexual manner, which is described by DrDisRespect as just inappropriate. Yeah, no, I imagine that is something that definitely should be central to his allegations, because if he was just saying something like telling jokes that were, off color or whatever, versus actually saying, oh, I'm gonna whip my dick out and fuck you till you're blue, or like whatever fucking depraved shit he could think of, those are two very different things, especially if what he says is true, that the message that were sent to the Twitch investigation team was not the whole log. In fact, that it was actually the whole log. In case you guys aren't familiar, if you guys didn't watch the stream, what he basically said, the whole log was sent to Twitch, and Twitch had no issues, and they said nothing violated, and the community manager, or his personal manager, his Twitch account manager, was so upset that he already had tensions with, was so upset that Twitch decided to do nothing. He then took out of context snippets of the chat log and sent it above Trust and Safety's head to somebody higher up in the company that he was friends with, and basically used these out of context clips and out of context messages to then get him banned. And that is probably the reason why he got to have his contract paid out in full, because yeah, Twitch absolutely was playing some shenanigans when it came to the situation that got him banned. But again, the point is, yes, I would not say that it is uncomfortable for him to focus on that aspect, since he's being accused of sexting a minor. And I'm not going to defend even inappropriate talks with a minor. The obvious answer is don't fucking talk to minors. But I would also say let's at least use language correctly. I engage with my community, I engage with other streamers, Beam said, and through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games, gaming politics, content creation, random stuff. That was the extent of my communication with this Twitch user. Being brought into question whether the person he communicated with was actually a minor at all. With all these so-called journalists fired off your tweets, did any of you consider the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the message? You didn't, he said. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban. And I would like to take this moment to say, I did. It would still be incredibly gross if the individual was 17 and he was in his 30s or almost 40 or whatever it was. However, age of consent is a thing that is at least worth bringing up in the conversation. Again, if we were going to be intellectually honest with one another, because again, guy dates a girl that is notably younger than him. No one bats an eye. However, fucking girl decides to get in there and do some hag maxing. Young 21, 22-year-old guy out there dating someone 36, 37, 38 years old. Again, that's called hag maxing. Dope ass term. All of a sudden, nobody cares. Nobody bats an eye when it's a young dude and an older woman. Now again, 17 is still too young. Age of consent or not, that's creepy as fuck. But at the end of the day, it is a valid question. I don't see why enough people didn't question it. This whole thing just reeks of you don't like the guy that we're going to do anything and everything you can to absolutely bury him. This argument seems to hinge on the distinction between the United States age of majority, the distinction between minor and adult, which is 18 in most states and 19 or 21 select few, and the age of consent, the legal age of consent for sexual activity, which being specifically referenced several times is only 16 in 34 US states, 17 in 6 other states. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting they never investigated the age of consent into the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received. He said before shouting, "Fucking unbelievable." Again, he's not wrong. He can be not wrong and it still be gross as hell at the same time, because if no crime was committed, why is homie getting banned? Now, if it was, part of the, terms of service, hey, you can't have these sorts of conversations over messages, whatever, but that doesn't seem to actually be the case. So You cannot like the disgusting argument while acknowledging the disgusting argument still to the letter of the law makes sense, and I don't think we should just be getting rid of people's livelihoods willy-nilly over some things giving you the ick. Beam also denied the allegation that he was attempting to meet up with the user at TwitchCon, saying, "I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we have never met in person ever." Beam claimed that Twitch found no legal wrongdoing in the exchange, a point he's made previously while noting that no criminal charges were ever brought against him, a point that I think is very important because, things happening to minors is a very serious thing. There are children out there that are trafficked. There are children that are put through all sorts of abusive situations. There are individuals who will abuse their power dynamic and God forbid, harm children. Oh, everybody remember, Epstein didn't kill himself. So, yeah. I do think that since there's no criminal charges and this was all handled, in a civil case in which, again, the doc was in fact paid out, look, that's honestly good enough for me. Oh no, Leon, you fucking monster. Fucking whatever. Have the opinion you want. I assume that if the dude did shit wrong, there would be criminal charges because folks tend to take things that happen to kids very seriously, as they should. Much of what Beam said stands in contrast to the now deleted statement he released in June, in which he admitted to exchanging Twitter whisper messages with individual minor back in 2017 that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate. Now, you can debate the semantic differences of being inappropriate and sexting as you see fit, but he clearly stated the other person involved was a minor at the time. Today, he shifted to referencing the legal age of consent. And you know what? He also deleted the tweet. He probably deleted the I'm not even going to speculate as to why he deleted the tweet. There could be a myriad of reasons. Turns out maybe he didn't need it anymore. Turns out there was no need for it in the legal case going forward. It could have just been because he's playing a character, and you know what? He likes to make himself look like the ultimate bad guy. I don't know. I don't care. The fact is, the tweet's deleted. Folks have moved on. I've moved on. The world's moved on. Homie had over 300,000 individuals in his stream yesterday, and he's going to be reapplying for YouTube monetization on September 25th. No, make of it what you will. You don't have to like the guy. And again, I'm not even a fan of him. I just think this is a really insane story for people to still be gripping at when we don't actually know anything. The wild accusations when we have next to no information is so startling to me because we are a country and we are a society founded upon the idea of innocent until proven guilty. And since there has been literally no proof that has come out, nothing, and in fact, there's no everything was handled behind closed doors without any sort of legality involved. Again, it was all civil. I don't understand the need to demonize the individual unless it's because you need to drive home your divisive political, ideological sensibilities. You want people on your side of this ongoing culture war, and you're just using the DrDisRespect situation as an avatar for your end goals in the culture war. You don't actually care about him one way or the other. In fact, you probably do hate his guts, but not to the point where, you actually care about Guy Beam, the individual, or even, let's be real, you don't care about the 17-year-old minor either. You care about DrDisRespect as a figurehead for pushing your message, for making sure that you look like the good guys and you try and bury anyone as a bad guy that might be ideologically opposed to you. That's really what this boils down to. And again, for Kotaku of all outlets to be the one that actually did relatively good reporting on this, that just goes to PC Gamer. It stands for politically correct. It's frankly, I don't know, I'm over it, I'm done. Just know that it's not just Kotaku who we were up against. We were up against all manner of these sleight of hand spinning journalists that are trying to destroy the art form of gaming and will go after anyone they disagree with. There will be a time when one of these hit pieces is about me, or Hypnotic, or Atreus, or whoever it may be, and when that time comes, fucking go for it. Say whatever you want, because you're going to always be the bad guy in someone else's head. You're going to be the demon. You're always going to be the villain of someone else's story, and that's just a reality we got to live with. But those are my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on X, where you can find me at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. I am a nerdy news channel. I cover nerdy news every day. Not always about, YouTube and internet drama, but anime, movies, music, Magic the Gathering, you name it. Check me out on Instagram at wordsofparadise_Leon, and become a member for $4.99 a month. You can join the Discord, choose the articles I go over on a day-to-day basis, choose the videos I react to on my Friday night live streams, and of course, get involved with over 80 other vital idols. We are a bright, beautiful, glowing, vibrant community that I cannot wait to grow even further, because we do care about diversity. Not only one kind of diversity. Diversity of thought. If that's interesting to you, join the Discord, hit subscribe, and until next time, it is all here in the Nerdosphere. This has been Words of Paradise.